Welcome to the Generational Rundown. New podcast name alert. We did it, guys. We changed our podcast name to the Generational Rundown. And although we're always going to be Raspies at heart, we got to get a new sign made. We just felt that we really wanted our podcast name to reflect what we're talking about. And when you're scrolling through Apple, you'll see Generational Rundown. What is that about? That's obviously generational gaps. We're mother-daughter. We want to talk about topics from different perspectives and really hone into our generations, Gen X, Gen Z, and we just felt the name matched that better.
That's right. And, we were struggling. We like the rundown part because we are running down topics. Regardless of what we talk about, we're doing a rundown. Raspy is unique to my voice, a little bit of yours, but people won't know that necessarily. Somebody told Alexandra they thought it was a smoker, and I'm certainly not a smoker. So I wanted it to be as authentic, but as easily identifiable for the viewer to know what they're getting into when they play our podcast, because we don't pretend to be, professors of anything. We are simply a mother-daughter. I don't know if you call us guru, but we're a mother-daughter team.
Duo.
Say again?
Duo,
not guru. A mother-daughter duo. See, this is when I need you, my other half, my other Raspy. We'll always be Raspies at heart. But the thing is, we have so much that we see differently in the world, as well as seeing similarly. And based on the fact that we're 30 years apart, it's really a great conversation every week, because some things you may see differently, or you may never have had that experience not being from the 80s, so.
right. So we needed each other to play off of, and we just felt that name fit better with what with what we do. And there's generational gaps in everything we talk about, even reality TV. So it really works.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some pop culture really quickly. Today, we're just going to do a recap of So You Think You Can Dance, because then we have a really great interview today for the next few weeks of the whole month of May. Each week, we're going to interview another strong female in business. We really want to highlight women in business and empowerment. It's the month of May, Mother's Day, and we also have an age range of people, which is really interesting to hear how some women have been in business since the 80s, the 90s, how it was back then versus women building businesses today in 2024. So we have a really fun series this whole month, and we want to definitely get into that. And so we're going to keep our part of the podcast short.
That's right. And I didn't even realize till your sister brought it up that Mother's Day is next week.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I didn't even know. And Olivia said, how could you not know? It's your day. I said, I did not realize it's approaching fast and furious, and May is going to be busy. Your sister's graduating college. Woo-hoo, finally. And she did a gap year. So yes, it's going to be a great, I only have one left in college. So yeah, let's get to it and discuss. So You Think You Could Dance.
So You Think You Can Dance. Okay, what do we think? I mean, here's my thing. We're in like the top 5, the top 6, right? And I'm annoyed because we're watching these people do challenges, and it's another week of group challenges. I'm over it.
Oh my God. Okay, we didn't discuss this. That was the first thing I wanted to say. That was the first thing I wanted to say with this freaking show. Why the hell are we watching group dances? It doesn't help accentuate anybody, because everybody that's in these group dances have different roles, and you're seeing them as a group. So it's really unfair to evaluate them as a group. Yes, we know they can dance a group, but they should be judged individually, because they're not going to go off as a group. They're going off individually. There's only one winner, right?
Right.
So I don't know why. I love the way it is on, Dancing with the Stars. I know they can't do the same thing, because then it would be too much of a same, too much copying of the other show. But I find that really weird that there's so much group involvement. To me, it's every week is the same predictability. They do group, they bring somebody in from the outside. You're lucky if you get the right person. You're lucky if you're cast in the right group setting, right? Because some of these comments are idiotic. Like, the judges will say, well, you didn't show off your style enough, or you were too robotic, or you didn't look happy. Well, the roles that they're creating in the group dance are based on what they're given from the director,
from the choreographer.
They're not individual dancers saying, I want to express myself. This is my individuality, and I'm going to be true to myself. It's them playing a role in the show of whatever they're presenting.
Right.
And of course, there's some that highlight better than others because based on what the role that they're given.
Right.
So for example, I think it was Anthony, very strong this week. I agree, but look at the role they gave him to play. And
Right.
then the woman,
Well,
they,
so they had two groups, and one of them was a Frankenstein dance. Anthony played pretty much Frankenstein to Footloose, who came back and was like created into a man. And so that was a very masculine role when they had said last time, we didn't feel like you were masculine enough. But the role last time was more of like a chill, geeky, nervous guy. So they're
right.
just basing it off the choreography. But the issue I have is when we see the contestants in rehearsal, we see the judges critiquing them to each other. Like Allison's telling JoJo what she thinks. Why aren't they telling the dancers what they think so then they can improve and work on those notes? Why are they judging with each other?
Oh, that's right, because they're watching prior to when they do it, right?
Right, they're watching the rehearsals and they're only critiquing to each other, not to the dancers.
That's really important note. The other note that I would like to make, I said this before, I think I mentioned it. I don't like how each of the judges only get to talk about one individual.
Right.
Like, I don't like that at all. Okay. That I have such a pet peeve with that because again, going back to Dancing with the Stars, every judge talks about every person. Well, there's two people, right? It's
Right.
the partner, the pro and the non-pro, right? But every judge, you see what they think about those two people
Right.
as a team,
And there's
individually and
less
as
judges on So You Think You Can Dance.
right,
There's more
right.
time. There's less
So,
judges, less people.
right. So why do they each get what? For example, what if Max liked the person that JoJo criticized? What if JoJo hated the person that who's the other judge?
Allison criticized.
Allison.
Exactly. It's not, the judging is one person takes each individual person and judges their thought on that person when we want to hear all of the judges' thoughts on each person.
Right. And also when they did the movie, they had to watch it from before, right? When they actually finally performed, they weren't on stage
I
performing.
don't think they ever are. I think what we've been seeing is we see their
Playback.
rehearsals, and during that rehearsal, they then film a final dance. So what we're watching is we're not watching anyone dance. We're watching them standing there watching their work from the week. It's always pre-recorded
I hate that.
because they work with a choreographer but it was as if they were actually on set in real life. So in real life, you wouldn't perform it. It would be filmed, and it's how you
Right.
come across on your assignment, which is in a movie or on Broadway. But it's just, yeah, it's strange. And then once again, when they fight for their lives and they're dancing to stay safe, they're obviously going to showcase their best dance and what they're the best at. So you're judging them to stay based on what they excel in, but then you're judging them to send them home based on things that
The group.
the group doesn't make
It's
sense.
so it doesn't make any sense. Was it always like this, the show?
I don't
'Cause
think so. It was different. They used to perform live. I think they used to perform live on the show.
And and again, I used to flip channels with this. Weren't there a lot of groups that performed and the groups were against individuals? So there were some
Mhm.
group troops and some individual, right?
Yes. Or
This is
partner.
all individuals, but they're making them do all group dances.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievably like bizarre. It's
Right.
not a really a good judge. And they're like, oh, you're all talented. Like, why did they send Jaden? How do you say his name?
Jalen.
Jalen. Why'd they send him home? What did he do wrong?
I
I
know.
still don't understand.
I don't understand. They have to narrow it down, but I even saw Mariah's face watching back her video. She looked so miserable. She started to cry. She's like, I don't feel like I did as well as I could have. I
Right.
just think that these challenges are wearing on some of the dancers because each week, you're getting judged in a group. But the thing is, if your partner messes up, it does reflect on you. Or if the group as a trio isn't strong, they'll call you out. You could
Right.
dance to your best ability, but if it's not good as a group, there are going to be issues.
And also, from what I remember for Dancing with the Stars, when they did the few times they did their group troop dances, I think they came up with their own choreography. They didn't have a specialist come in and do it.
Mhm.
It's very unfair to me to have the specialist come in and do it. I just, to
It's
me,
a choreographer, but I also think the choreographer
choreographer.
doesn't know these people. They don't
Right.
have 6 to 8 weeks to work together and learn their strengths. And
Right.
on top of that, they keep mixing up the groups each week. So how are you ever going to get in a groove with your group if you keep being put into a new group?
Good
And I
point.
get that's the real world, and this show, I guess, is based on being a dancer in the real world, but I don't understand what they're judging by. I don't.
And are they supposed to then perform when they win, go on to Broadway? I understand if you're going to perform on Broadway, but if you were going to be a solo dancer or you're just going to dance next to people, you're all going to pretty much, I feel like, do the similar moves. And in these choreographies, like I said before, they're all getting such different moves within their choreography group, right?
Right.
So like the robotic, oh, you're too serious. Oh, you're so nice, lighthearted. Oh, you did a great job kicking over the couch. Oh, you didn't show the, it just, to me, it's not really a fair judge of these dancers. And they
Yeah.
didn't sign up to be group dancers. And I don't
Right.
understand.
They're
And
not
it's
being able
also,
to shine for soloists at all. Everything is working with a group, which, yeah, they didn't sign up
right.
for, I don't feel.
I think what would make more sense, to be honest, if they had to pick out of a hat or something every week, and they like there was a choice of different dances, and each individual person was whatever they picked, they had to dance
Right.
to show that and to show the
Oh,
flexibility of
yes.
all the dances. So one week somebody might keep, it might be unfair, you might keep picking the same ballet choreography,
Well,
or
no,
you
maybe
might,
they'll take it out of the hat when you pull next so that you can't pick
yeah,
ballet. Like,
something
well,
like that to
and then they
show,
could work with an individual choreographer, or why don't we have these dancers put in any input with what they want to do with the
right.
moves and things like that? We're not seeing their strength as choreographers, because what if some of these dancers want to be choreographers one day? We're not seeing how they direct or they come up with moves as a group or anything like that.
Or if like one of the Max, Allison, or JoJo want to work with them. That's what
I
they do
agree.
again, Dance of the Stars. They take those judges at the end of the season and they each grab someone.
Right.
And it's exciting. You get to work with Max. Let's see what you could, let's see Max teach one
Right.
of them, you know? Let Max teach all of them. Or Max takes some and they take some. They break it down. Are we going to see that or no? You don't think we're going to see that?
I hope we do at some point, because it's been going by really fast. Like, we were from 20 people, we have like 5 now.
I know.
Let's see the judges work with these people
Okay.
individually. Let's getting to that point.
Yeah. And can I ask you, what is the British woman's role? She just like a
She's the
broadcast.
host of the show.
I know, but does she have any background in terms of like doing this, like doing other shows?
Well, she's hosted the show from the beginning, but I'm not sure if she has a dance background. She looks like a dancer.
Yeah, because I was thinking, wasn't there this show also in England? Or no, so you think you can dance in England?
Maybe that's where she hosted too. Yeah, I think she's been on it for a while.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yes.
so we'll just have to see what happens with So You Think You Can Dance.
And how many more weeks are left for So You Think You Can Dance?
Maybe like 3 or 4.
Oh my goodness. And then what do they win? What do they actually
That I
win?
don't know. They're definitely going to win some sort of money, and maybe money, maybe a residency, maybe a chance to work somewhere. Who knows? I don't know that. I have to look into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all we have for that particular show for this week. And we'll have a couple more shows to talk about and then we'll see. I mean, do you have any guesses who you think's gonna win? I kind of think the woman's gonna win. Anthony's girlfriend.
Tequila, yeah. I'd say I think Tequila or Anthony. I think Tequila or Anthony.
Yeah, they're the couple, right?
Yeah,
That would be cool.
that'd be cool.
I also like to know what happens to these people when they are gone. Like when they're, oh, you have a big career ahead.
I mean,
So
then
they're
they go and they
doing,
do the career. What happens when you leave a job, or what happens when you don't get
I
a role?
know, but I wish they would follow them or something, or they tell them to come back, but I don't
Oh,
know. I
shoot. No, I'm sorry. Whoa. Easton
what?
is going to win the show. Easton. We totally
Which
forgot. Easton is the guy who's fabulous. He's good looking. He's that cute boy on the show. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
yes.
Easton is going to win in my mind.
Easton looked, that's right. Easton's similar looking to Anthony.
I love Easton. I think he's such
Yeah.
a star.
How old is he?
I don't know, but he has such a great personality. Maybe like 22. He was on So You Think You Can Dance Kids, and he didn't
Oh,
make it far. And it was so sweet. We saw in the audition, he shared, this was his dream always to come back. And look how far he's
yeah,
made it. He's incredible.
he is.
That's
He
hard
really
work.
is.
And he came back and he's killing it. But all right, we'll have to stay tuned.
Yes, well, stay tuned. I can't wait to watch next week.
I know. And now, guys, we have a really special guest, Kelly Ramos.
Can't
She
wait.
is, yes, we can't wait for you to hear she is influencing me. She is a business owner, and she has the most insane dog spa and grooming center in Ridgefield, Connecticut, treats pupperia and treated grooming. So we're going to hear all about her and her journey and her adventures. Also, she happens to be a pop culture junkie. So we're going to talk a little Vanderpump Rules with Kelly as well. It's a good one.
Yes, and if anybody has a chance to go and take a look at this spa, you'll You'll love it. You'll be so envious. You'll want it for yourself, for the human side. It's truly incredible.
It's incredible. All right, guys, here it is.
So hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Alexandra.
This
Hi,
is
so
your
happy to
first
have you here.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is first time meeting, right? The two of you.
Yes.
So let's tell the viewers how we got this connection going. First of all, Alexandra and I decided that as our podcast progresses, we've now changed it. So thank you for being the first to embrace us with our new name, the Generational Rundown. And what we've decided to do, as generations do, is always talk about mother-daughter differences through the years. And so in addition to talking to pop culture, we want to have like a theme every week, which we've been doing through the years, but really stick to one topic. So this week's topic is about women, and this month's topic, women in business, right, Alexandra?
Yeah.
About how
Great.
women who have become empowered, where they've started from. We have another woman starting next week interviewing. She was divorced and how she started. So what we did was we decided we would like to have that topic starting with Kelly. And the way I met Kelly was I was going into her store last week, which we'll get to later, just to purchase a dog goodie for my dog, Jojo, who's turning 17. And I didn't know what to give him because he's got a sensitive stomach and she has such great ideas, but I was still skeptical because Jojo has gastritis. So we actually agreed upon getting this treat that worked out amazing. He didn't have any problems on either end, the mouth or the butt. And we took photos, and Alexandra was part of the FaceTime, and my son in Atlanta was part. And then my younger daughter, Olivia, was here for the weekend with her friend. So we had a cute little celebration for Jojo.
Great.
So
Oh,
that's how I
Jojo
met
is so
Kelly.
great. Yes,
That's how we met. And
it
I
was
feel like it was meant to be.
absolutely. It was such a, when you walk through the store, it was a connection from the start. And I was so happy to hear that JoJo was 17 years old. Everything you've done up to this point with JoJo, I was a huge fan of. And we got talking about just wellness and health for dogs and how important it is and how it's becoming a bigger thing. Every single day, I hear more and more research is coming out for dogs and wellness. And I was so glad to hear how you've raised JoJo pretty much.
I know. And we're going to talk more in detail later.
Yes,
The
yes.
other part of our conversation, Kelly, was that we both had a connection to Bravo, which I am a Bravo, almost like virgin, if you will. I only started doing this for the podcast. Alexandra can attest. I'm not a big television watcher. I'm much more of a series thing. Like when my kids come home, we watch a series of something,
Yeah.
but not like the Bravo or go to movies. So I started becoming more open to watching reality television in the last few years, right, Alexandra?
It's all new, but we've been recapping Vanderpump, and obviously, Kelly, you watched The Valley too, so we can dive into that a little bit.
Oh,
But I
yes.
just love Bravo, and I'm glad I found someone else who likes it and can share their opinions, because I just feel it's been a whirlwind these past few seasons.
It's been insane. And for Bravo, Bravo's been a big part of my life for many years. For over 10 years, I've invested in watching everything from Below Deck to all the sub shows to even recently the Erica Jane segment and
Yes.
just everything. I've watched it all from A to Z. And yes, it's grown into, it's funny because I have my fiance now in it and he's invested in the relationships and the drama and what's going on, especially after Scandival and all of that. That's really how we got all the boyfriends and husbands on board.
Yes, I love it. Men who watch Bravo. That is great. No, I've seen so many TikToks of guys who love this now because it's so juicy that they're sitting in front of the screen and they're like, wait, is that this person and that person? And they're all
Yeah.
into it now. And
Yeah,
they never
I
watched
love
before.
watching those videos. It's great.
Yes.
Yes, we're one of those for sure.
I love that. Let's get into some Vanderpump. I want to hear your thoughts in general. Obviously, we see this season, we have Ariana and Katie, I feel, versus like Lala and Sheena.
Oh,
And they're
yeah.
trying to reunite the group with Tom Sandoval and nobody's having it. So I want to hear your thoughts on these episodes. And we're
it's so strange to me to see the group has always been divided, and like it slowly started a while ago, even before Ariana and Tom broke up. But you see Katie and Ariana just take this different stance, and I feel like there's so much jealousy going on this season. It's so obvious too. And all these girls grew up the same way. This whole cast grew up, and started from the bottom up. And I can't say the bottom because Sir is amazing. And I'm coming from the restaurant industry. That's like my peak working.
He worked there. Alexandra worked at
I
Sir.
know. Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's right. That's right. So amazing, a dream. But it's so hard to watch. And one of my favorites is Sheena, and it's really been difficult watching Sheena this past season, this from start till recent episodes. And I've been such a huge fan of her, and it just, seeing her struggle has been hard. This whole season's been so hard for me.
Yeah, no, it has been hard because I do feel with Sheena too. She's always been a really loyal friend, whether that could be a bad thing or a good thing. She always tries to forgive and come back. And I do feel Lala was very mean to her at first, and that was very trivial. Now they have kids, they're raising their kids together.
Yes.
So I get why Sheena's team Lala. And although she says Ariana is her best friend, and we see her talking to Brock this past week,
Which was great.
yeah, which was great. She was defending. Yeah, sticking up for Ariana, saying she didn't feel the same, like she doesn't feel that Tom has been a better friend to her than Ariana has been. But then at the same time, I do understand why it would be really terrible for Ariana. Again, this is so fresh after the scandal, to see your best friend who you've really defended and you've rode for, you joined the show for her, to be kind of wishy-washy.
You said it, Alex, by saying it's so fresh. Time is everything in this situation. It's so crucial that they wait. There is a science behind it. This is way too fresh, and relationships are going to be broken over this. And the more they push Tom onto Ariana, the more Ariana is going to make her way out of the group. And she's already doing that just because she has now a new fame level, I think, compared to them. So they're already putting her on a pedestal and making her seem like she's too good for everyone. And she's just going to make her exit at any point. So I'm nervous to see that. I'm like, I want to see Ariana stay part of the group, but if I was her, I would be, I can't take this anymore. And I want my friends to have my back and understand how much. And yes, everyone's cheated in the group. I think the main thing that a lot of outsiders, when they come in and start watching the show, they're like, well, everyone's cheated. Katie's cheated and Lala's cheated a lot and has done some things that are very inappropriate. But this was very different. And Sheena broke that down in this last episode. And what made it different was the way she was setting up her life to be with Tom. And Tom really, strung her along in the worst possible way.
But now it seemed like in this last episode this week, she was hugging Tom. We got our wine because you said you were doing the wine. So we got our
Podcast and drinking.
Yay, cheers.
I
Cheers.
didn't put a lot in because I'll be on the floor. But
Are you guys having rosé over there too?
Yes, I am.
Sedona wine from Sedona when I went to Sedona with
I
Olivia.
love your glass too.
Isn't it fun? It's like I think it's home
The
goods.
amber.
It's
Yeah,
like home
gorgeous.
goods. Yes. There's only a little bit in here because I don't have much left in this bottle. But the thing is, what happened this past week is Sheena was hugging Tom and saying, at the very end, she's hugging him, and I don't understand, like, because I jumped into the season. I only started watching Vanderpump this past year.
Well, that's why your opinion is kind of important, because there's a lot of people that are just jumping into the bandwagon now, and they're
right
because of the whole scandal. So we have a lot of new viewers with Vanderpump, and it's a #1 show on Bravo.
Right.
And we have a lot of new viewers. That's why your opinion, I love to hear what you have to say, just because me and Alexandra have been watching this from day one.
Like for me, I don't understand
And Sheena
what was
hugging.
the deep connection with Sheena and Tom Sandoval.
I kind of had a hard time understanding because they keep mentioning how close they were and such good
what was
friends.
that?
I'm like, I'm trying to think of like when their friendship stood out to me in the show.
Right. I'm thinking the first story that Sheena's always said is at the upfronts, which was introducing Vanderpump Rules to the Bravo world back in the first season. Everyone on the cast shunned Sheena. They thought she was a home wrecking, you know, hoe because of Eddie Cibrian.
Right,
And Tom
yes.
Sandoval is the only one who
Right.
put his hand around her and brought her to the
Right.
carpet and included her in the group. During the pandemic, she went broke apparently, and he gave her thousands of dollars. And we never found out about that. This is all things he did behind the scenes, which then makes me think, though, is he when he cries, are they real tears? Because if you could do something so horrible to your partner of 10 years, are you actually soulless? Or what about all those amazing things he's done to Sheena over the years? Was this just a midlife crisis as bad as it was, and Tom's an actual good person? I don't know.
Well, because as an outsider, Kelly, it looks to me, if I didn't know, that they had some chemistry. Like this last
Yeah,
thing
they
with the
God.
plate thing, I was like, because
did.
first of all, I don't find him to be, I don't like him with his mustache at all. I just don't like the
Yeah.
mustache. But I almost feel like he reminds me of, and again, this is the generation,
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. He reminds me a little bit of a Robert Downey Jr., but with a mustache. I don't know
He
what it
doesn't
is.
have the mustache anymore. He shaved it
Oh,
episodes
but I
ago.
always
He
think of
keeps
the
saying
mustache.
that.
Yeah, he got rid of the
Thank
mustache.
God he did. He just looks like a villain. Like
Yeah.
he has such a villain
Yeah.
seeping through his
Yeah.
pores. And Tom has always been really strange. Toms, both of them are
Yeah.
so different and strange. So it's kind of
Yeah.
hard for us just, that grew up normally and just viewing them. They're just so different in
So
their view.
eccentric. They are so
Oh, so
eccentric. And as
That's
someone
what
who
we
worked at
relate.
SIR, I've hung out with both Toms, but Tom Sandoval, he makes me laugh up until the scandal. He made me laugh so hard because it's just, he is who you see. He has the
Yeah.
nail polish, he's eccentric, and it's so
Yeah.
funny. Like he's so
You
himself.
knew them, Alexandra? You knew both of them?
Yeah, and he's so out there, and like that's really who he is. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought you were so funny. You were my favorite guy on the show. He was, because I saw him stick up for the underdog season after season. He
Yes.
stuck up for Lala, stick up for
Well,
Billy.
doesn't that make you think a little like, he just ended up falling in love with, it just happens. He goes with the flow. That's just Tom. And like, he didn't want to hurt Ariana. That's not, but he fell in love with Rachel, whatever we want to call her. He fell in love with her, and that's just Tom. He just goes with the flow, and Ariana and them can't understand it because everybody's ideal image of a relationship is like so structured and traditional. Tom's not that. He's
And
completely
she wasn't, from what Alexandra told me, again, I only started watching it this year. She was very volatile
open.
with him. She would get
Yeah.
nasty at him.
But you're repeating things I told you in confidence, because that wasn't on the show. That was me seeing it, like, and this is not
Oh,
like, you always say that, but that's not from the show. It's just from someone
oh,
who worked at SIR. I heard things from their close friends that the truth was they weren't happy. He really did try to break up with her a few times. She was not having it. And there were serious issues, and she would yell at him and be mean to him. But again, none reasons to cheat with her best friend for 7 months. Of course, none reasons.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
do think there is some truth to the fact that the relationship wasn't good, and he tried to get
Agreed.
out and couldn't.
Yeah, I agree. There was definitely something there, and Tom definitely probably tried. And Ariana, we'll probably see it more throughout the next few episodes, that side of Ariana, because you're
Mhm.
starting to see, that monster coming out a little bit as she gets more fame and she gets more wealthier. You're gonna see that side come out of her for sure.
And what do you think about Dan? Because the one thing I kind of understood is, and I love Lala, and this is so sad that this season, I feel
Mhm.
she's so angry and like jealous
Yes.
almost. And I agree with her with the questions she's asking. But then this last episode, she was really mean, saying Dan is weird. Who would want to be with a gut girl who just left their partner of 10 years? No, she didn't leave him. He cheated on her and ruined her life. So to say that was really terrible.
Lala's in probably the strangest place I've ever seen her in, with wanting to have another baby.
right.
And she's going through so much, and to add another baby to the plate was so crazy to me, to think that that's what now she's throwing a cum party at Lisa Vanderpump's house.
Sure,
and
yeah.
yes, and I'm like,
It's so weird.
it's so crazy. And
Well,
Lala is doing it for, I think, for the for image. Like she needs a storyline, and she's just going to do some eccentric stuff too, and go outside the lines. And I think you mentioned with Dan, I think Dan is great. You can kind of see it right from the start. He doesn't really want much to do with the cast, and
Right.
it's because they're so toxic. He seems like this complete different type than the traditional Vanderpump cast.
You're
And
talking, this is all Ariana's boyfriend you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because Lala, she said, "Oh, you have a great body, Tim." That's all she said. And she said, "Oh, you're not gonna interact, but you have a good body." Like, I
Yeah.
feel like it's very disjointed. Like it didn't, it's like they
That's
bring in
Lala.
these people, but then also with the show, I don't know if you feel this, Kelly, that they don't really continue. There's no continuity. They'll start something on the show, but then you don't see it through. Like the sperm party a couple weeks ago, last week, it was like very short. Did a
Yeah.
couple things and they're done. This thing, San Francisco, they were in San Francisco. What was that about? That San
Yeah.
Francisco thing.
You know,
Now next week they'll be out of San
No,
Francisco.
they're gonna be in San Francisco again. It's a two-part. This is, I think it's the finale or the one before the finale next week. We're gonna stay in San Francisco.
Okay, because I felt like they didn't show much. They showed Joe. Joe comes into Tom Schwartz's life. Came back.
Joe is being like, she is so quirky and out there,
Yeah.
Joe. And it's embarrassing because even in real time, she's saying
Yeah.
her and Tom are soulmates. Like, he has a girlfriend. He hid you away. He didn't want anyone to know you guys were together. I'm so sorry, but take it at face value. He's flaunting his young new girlfriend now. Like,
But
it
we
was-
haven't, we don't know that yet, right? We don't
right, we
know.
don't know that, but you can still see even on the show, she's in love with him, and he definitely isn't.
he's
Right.
giving her all the signs of we're just friends, and she
Right.
is taking it to the next level. And I wanted to like Joe because I saw how mean the girls were to her, and I kind of felt for her. But now I'm seeing like, okay, she's a little crazy, and like maybe
Yeah,
the girls were a little right about her. And Tom always surrounds himself with strange people too.
Right.
And
Well, what about this whole thing with him wanting to have a one night stand with his wife, his ex-wife?
oh my
That
God,
was weird too.
That's
so
just Tom.
uncomfortable.
Is he having like a midlife crisis? He's so young. He dyed his hair.
Yes, for years
Wow.
he's been having a
I
midlife
think that
crisis.
in my day, that's called a midlife crisis, right?
Oh
Tommy
yeah.
Lopez is one shoe. Yeah.
He's always trying to find his way. Tom is lost all the
Okay.
time. Like, I'm just trying to find my way, you
So
know.
no different. This has been like this for all these years, you guys?
Yes, he's always kind of, yeah, never really stood for anything or stood for much and tried to be like the comic relief and in the
He's
background.
always the victim, like
Always
hey,
the victim. And I'm starting to feel bad for Katie. And I never thought I'd say that because I really felt like she was portraying a dark cloud and was negative,
Yes.
and she's doing this
Yeah.
whole like all black look all the time now. But I'm actually feeling bad for her because I do think she really saw Lala as a friend. And I don't know what the heck is going on with Lala unfollowing her, making nasty comments about her, coming for her on the show. I do.
Why
think
is
it's
that?
kind of bad.
Why is that?
I don't know, because it's
Wait,
like,
is it-
if you're
if
friends
you
with
think-
Ariana, you can't be friends with, I don't know.
if you think about Lala though, Lala is I personally I like Lala, okay, and but she's always nasty with at least one cast member. Like she's always arguing with at least one. So right now it's she's targeting Katie right now because she's best friends with Sheena and she has to be there for Ariana, so she can't be fighting with Ariana even though she keeps throwing those digs left and right.
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 So right now it's like, let me just go after Katie, and she's just always looking for a fight.
But this is all with regards, Kelly, to the Tom Sandoval cheating, right? Is that why they're at odds? Because Katie's defending Ariana, and Lala is mad that she's not accepting Tom Sandoval because of Sheena being friends? I don't understand.
Alexandra, I don't know if you want to step in on this one. It's kind of hard to understand the dynamics just because right now everyone's so focused on watching Ariana and they keep bringing up Lala and her endeavors and what she's doing, and trying to change things in her life. I don't know what Lala's like real beef is. I feel like she's finding a beef with everyone. There was a moment this season where she stood up from the table and was like, I can't stand any of you guys. Everybody's lying. No one's telling the truth.
Yeah, I
So
remember
I
that.
feel like she's getting fed up with the group of people she's around.
Right.
But she
everybody,
switches because
Well,
yeah,
I
that's
think
my,
she's evolving. She wants to brand herself new. She wants to
yeah,
have another baby. She wants to be in and that's why I think her and Sheena should just take their little butts over to the valley and
that's
join
what
the
I
valley.
said. You took
Because
my
I would
idea.
like to watch that and see the
That was
mom
my
and the
idea.
kids over there, and then we can
yeah,
have, the Toms can have their own show, Schwartz and Sandy's,
Right.
whatever, and then something about her, Ariana and Katie can have their own
yeah,
sandwich shop show. Because I'm glad they're taking a break from filming because everyone's disjointed, and maybe if the dust settles, we can have a cohesive cast. But I
so
just, yeah, feel the drama.
is that a thing? Because I saw some rumors about them taking a break. It's
Yeah,
official?
it's official. They're definitely breaking. But Andy Cohen said like this morning, this is what they used to do with all the housewives. They would give a whole break. The only reason they filmed back to back these seasons is because Scandal happened. So they
Yeah,
wanted to pick cameras up to see them aftermath. But normally people get breaks in between filming. And
yeah,
and they need time to breathe because nobody's friends anymore. And we don't want to watch another New Jersey of a discombobulated show.
yes,
We want to see connections. And I do think that Lala is in a different era and she wants everyone to don't drink the poison because it'll kill yourself, but you can't control Ariana's journey. Ariana has every right to stay in that house because if she left, where would she go? She wanted to wait until she was financially stable to buy a house in the hills, which Lala also dissed.
which is crazy to me. And also, Ariana put so much, she invested so much in that house.
Right.
And that was like her and Tom's baby, like first baby. They don't have kids, so they treated that home. I remember when they were all buying homes that period of time. And Tom and Ariana, this was their next step because they don't plan on getting married or having kids or the traditional stuff. So the house was a big deal. So I kind of get why she was so attached to the house, and maybe it might have been part petty, part, but a lot of it was her investment in it and not just handing it over to Tom, which Tom apparently can't even afford it. Is that the
Yeah.
case?
So yeah, so I have a question about this. Didn't she freeze her eggs? Didn't I hear she froze her eggs, Ariana?
Yeah,
So
after
she was
not wanting
planning.
kids. She never wanted kids her
So
entire
why'd she freeze her eggs?
or Tom. Because
Oh, so she
she
did.
wanted kids. So maybe one
So,
day she would do it.
so what do you think's gonna happen with those eggs? What happens? Like what?
Nothing. It'll just be destroyed
They
or
just
staying there forever. They're not embryos, they're just her eggs. So I mean she can match them with Dan.
Yeah, I
yeah,
was just gonna say it's just her eggs if she decides she wants to.
yeah.
Do we know? I forgot her age. How old is
I think
Ariana?
she's like 38.
38.
Okay.
Around
Oh,
38.
Okay.
But I think she's handled things so gracefully. I have to say, she's very
Okay.
media
Yeah.
trained, and this is why she's another level of stardom because she never disparages anyone in interviews. She keeps it super nice, super PC, always very gracious. And I think that's what will keep opening doors for her. She's not on Amazon Live fighting with people. She's really
yeah.
yeah, and I do commend her for that. And I
That's
although I love
why.
Bella and Sheena, I'm like kind of confused with the angle they're going for.
Well, Ariana's never portrayed herself as a villain in the show, right?
Right.
Ariana's always had a positive outlook to all the viewers. Sheena was a villain as soon as she came on the show. Lala was always a villain, so I think that's why Ariana was able to skyrocket so quickly with the fame and with so much love from fans is because she's always been such a good soul. Everyone can see it through the TV screen. So they
Right.
were happy to give her that support. That's why Scandal was such a big thing because we loved Ariana. She's never done any wrong.
Right.
What?
And that's why no one gave Lala, and I think she's a little bit upset by it. No one rallied around her with the Randall cheating scandal because
Right. She
But
mentioned
she,
that.
she would
how
say
did they
things.
meet? Your mom didn't see that episode, thank God. It was so inappropriate. But they met on very salacious terms and
Yeah.
not.
Yes. Yeah, because Alexandra had me before we started filming the whole Vanderpump discussion, when we started that on our podcast, she had me watch a really great episode. What was that, Alexandra?
It was like a recap of all the past 10 years of Vanderpump before the new season aired.
So I
Oh,
watched
yeah.
that, and then I started these Vanderpumps. And I will admit, I've only watched one Valley, because we've been focusing on other things. Like we take a show like we do Dance with the Stars. We're doing this season, So You Think You Can Dance. So we're focusing on only two shows. But I do want to go and watch the Valley. I feel like it's going to be
Good.
complicated because I did watch one episode. I was a little confused trying to take notes. Who's this person? I will say, and this ties into what we're talking about, that from the Valley, this reminds me that Jack's character
Yeah.
and Brittany, I am not a fan. I don't really understand this relationship between him and her. He came on this episode this week. And again, I didn't really get the connection. Lisa was very angry. Lisa said, I don't really like what you're about. Then they hugged, they made up. Lisa Vanderpump, what is his connection and why was he on this episode, Alexandra? And Kelly, what were your takes on this?
Kelly, do you want to take it away?
Well, first of all, with Lisa Vanderpump, these are her children. So whether they mess up and do things bad, she will yell at them.
Really good. You really know your stuff, Kelly.
I know my stuff because she created this show. This is first of all her money maker.
Right.
These kids she started the show and she built an amazing restaurant, which Alexandra worked at, and she's a queen when it comes to that. And she hired this staff that became the #1 show. So she's like the godmother. Everyone looks at her as the ticket to fame, the ticket to wealth. She brought so much to them, and those are her children. So when they do mess up, she almost thinks it's her fault because sometimes things might happen because they say this show is scripted, but it's not. But sometimes they might act out and do things to maybe make a storyline for the show. So they'll do things that are probably out of character, I like to say.
Right.
So she feels a little bit to blame for it. So she's always there for her kids. She's always there for them. And she'll yell at them and scold them and tell them what you did was really wrong.
Right.
But I still love you and I will still help you. Like she's helped Rachel throughout this whole process, but I'm sure she's not happy with what Rachel has done, but she's been with her every step of the way and she'll do it for all of them. And Jax was in the earlier seasons and he was a huge villain. Like Tom wasn't even nearly close to what Jax has done. It's like,
wow,
He's
really?
like a serial
Okay.
cheater. And so when we're seeing the Valley this season, we're seeing the demise of him and Brittany's relationship, which is crazy because him and Brittany, she stayed with him through cheating, through horrible things. He made her get these massive double Ds, which like he would only
Really?
get one size. She wanted smaller. He said no.
terrible.
He's
too.
a total jerk. But I thought, if you would stay with him through all of that, she's not going to leave him now for nothing. But now she is kind of fed up because she says when a woman gets to her breaking point, there's really no turning back. Like I feel we saw with Kyle and Mauricio on Beverly Hills. Once a woman's done, I think they're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that 100%.
What did she see in him? Why is she with him? Like, how long have they been married?
They've been together like 10 years, I think. I don't know. They've been together a long time, like maybe 7 or 8. I mean, been a long time. And she stood by him. They have a son together, Cruz. But I think it just kind of got, the shtick of him not stepping up. And also he's been really mean to her because she wants a second baby on the Valley. And he doesn't want a second. He's flipping the script on her. They were always supposed to try for a second baby at this time. And now all of a sudden he's like, I don't want one. Like, we have a bar we have to focus on because they created their bar in Studio City. And he makes a lot of comments like, you're drunk. If you want to be a mom, then you shouldn't drink as much. And here's the thing. I understand where he's coming from. I think Brittany really does like to party. And I think she parties a lot. But coming from Jax, I'm like, I can't take anything you say seriously. Like, you saying that is just comical because it doesn't affect her mothering and she does live for her kids. So I think that's the real reason they split because he flipped the script about wanting to have another baby.
Yeah. And now she has the support around her too. I think the show kind of triggers people's emotion, like triggers the whole accelerates the divorce. Like if it's there, that going on a TV show is going to accelerate their path into divorce. It's just going to bring out all of the skeletons out of the closet. And you see it. And people analyze this, like this past this latest episode, you see him doing that. And the fans went nuts over it and was like, Brittany, you need to get out. Like this guy is, and he can't, it's like, he's acting like he's so busy that he can't handle what's going on. It's like, Jax, you don't even have much going on, okay? Like you can handle it, but he's such a baby when it comes to everything. I feel like he needs to make sure everyone knows that he's a dad, just like when we watched Vanderpump and Jax was in the episode, all he did was talk about how he's a dad and how he's different than everyone and like making himself seem like he grew so much. It's an insecurity of his. And he's just always projecting. And that's what he's doing with Brittany. He's insecure about himself, so he's projecting it on Brittany the whole time. Like, you drink when he drinks and goes out all the time with his friends.
Right.
What, I have a question, you guys. What is this animosity between him and Katie? Because again, I didn't watch the previous shows and it didn't show it on the recaps. What happened with him and Katie? Why don't they like each other? Something
Just
happened.
years of history. I would just say
Years.
Jax defending Tom Schwartz, cheating on Stassi, who was Katie's best friend, treating Brittany terribly. She just sees Jax as a villain and she doesn't like him.
Oh,
Jax would always
okay,
comment on
so
her
yeah.
weight, the way she looks. I mean, he
He-
was always, yeah,
Yeah.
he was always nasty to
oh,
her.
so she had friends that were hurt by him.
Yes, and then he
Yeah.
also made nasty comments about her weight and how she looked and her personality.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, again, Kelly, you wanted my perspective. I would never know, at least from these last bunch of episodes, pretty much all the episodes, I would never know that that Katie and her ex-husband had a very tumultuous split. They seem very bonded and friendly and comfortable that you'd want to be when you're a divorced person.
They had a tumultuous relationship. It wasn't just a split. They just always were like a brother and sister type. You know, they didn't really have a romantic relationship. That's why when he asked her for the one night stand, I was sitting there like,
You're like,
what?
incest.
Like, I'm just so confused by this because you guys barely had sex when you were together, and now all of a sudden you want to have a one night stand with her.
I
You
know.
wouldn't sleep with her when you guys were married.
Oh my God, that's crazy. So is he the one that wanted the divorce, or she
Oh,
wanted?
she did. She wanted
She
it.
wanted the divorce. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't really doing much. Their relationship wasn't growing. I think like these girls just grew up and grew out of their guys. Like Katie,
Yeah.
Ariana's so far removed from Tom now. Like her career skyrocketed. I truly felt like he was holding her back. I mean, she's a star, Dancing with Stars, Chicago. But I mean, I'm sad. I'm curious to see where it goes. Like I'm excited for the finale, but I don't know where we're gonna go from here as a cast.
And we were saying, Alexandra and I said on one of the earlier episodes that I almost feel like it's kind of getting to the point where they're running out of story ideas. And because they've evolved in different ways, they haven't all evolved the same degree. A lot of them have not matured, but they've changed. And what I almost feel like is if Lala's not going to go to the Valley, she should be integrating this new child and showing us what she does as a mother and her reaction, her interaction with her mother and her brother.
She would be better off on a show like that. Like Vanderpump Rules is about the partying and and what goes on in the restaurant industry. Well, it was, and just like the partying aspect. And Lala doesn't drink and she doesn't go out. Like they're now living a different lifestyle, which is the Valley's type.
Yes, like the Toms still party, and so they should have a different show. Katie and Ariana still go out. Maybe not Ariana as much, but it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you have Sheena who's more like aligned with, Lala in the sense they're both mothers and Sheena's already made it clear she doesn't want any more kids, but Lala's on the second. And I almost feel like we need to see more of their lives outside. There's no bar anymore. We need to get over this. They're not teenagers. You know what I mean? I feel like
they need a new show. They need a new support. And it would be so good for them to not be part of Vanderpump and have their own thing, like mentally, that they don't have to keep up with these crazy storylines. Now they can show them their family side and how they raise their kids and show people that side, and it could still be great entertainment to watch.
They're
just like the Valley is.
Yes, the Valley's my number one show right now. Like that is so juicy. And again, these people are new, Mom, minus Jax and Kristen. We're just getting introduced to these couples for the first time too. So if you jump on now, you're not missing anything.
Okay. I got to review back. But the thing is, also, Alexandra pointed out to me last week that Lala can't have her other daughter on because of the ex-husband. That's why we don't see the daughter, because they're divorced.
Well, they were never married, but Randall won't allow Lala on.
Wait,
it's so strange to me that Randall
they were just
they never got married.
No,
see,
she dodged a bullet.
No. I just learned something. Okay. I thought they were married.
No.
And that whole relationship was strange to me, how she acted so shocked that he was cheating and that he was involved in all of these things when like he's known for that.
Right.
And she definitely knew it. And she just played it off the way she wanted to play it off because I mean, she was embarrassed. And then I loved their relationship as it progressed. And we loved seeing Randall and her. I thought it was great, but we knew he had that side to him. Everyone did. Even when she said it in the beginning when they first met, you remember the Range Rover and
Yeah.
she was doing certain things for the Range Rover. Clearly, he's not a holy man, okay?
Right. I think once he cheated on her, she was then couldn't look past all the other stuff anymore. Because once he humiliated
Yeah.
her publicly, she had to get out. But she kind of let a lot of other stuff slide. And there was
Yeah.
no money. I think she realized the money was running out. And now he's cheating. He has no money. What am I doing here?
Yeah. I wonder how her brands, I thought of it today because she was rebranding and I didn't realize I forgot that she had a brand and I'm just wondering how I'm thinking to myself now, I'm going to go look after, like, how is her business doing? Like, is she,
That's
you
right.
know,
Well, she has a
thriving?
beauty line and a baby clothing
Yeah.
line. And
That's
it's
right.
give
I
them
forgot.
Lala.
I bought
Yeah.
her lipsticks,
Oh,
remember?
you did.
I
Yes,
bought some.
we've used them, but I don't feel like I think she's kind of swiping all that stuff and she wants to rebrand. She claims a lot is coming, so I don't know if that's new clothes or new makeup or a completely clean slate. She said she's done with the Give Them Lala name, and I have not seen her post anything about Give Them Lala Beauty, no bundles, no packages, so I have no idea.
Well, that's a good point, Kelly. I didn't realize, I mean, because I remember buying lip liners. I don't even know what else I bought, but I didn't use
I
it for
never
long.
came across her products. Usually, sometimes, like you'll come across,
Yeah,
what is it? Like,
wasn't something I use long term because I have so much makeup. I was like, I have too much, but I wanted to try it, and I didn't realize. Then what is this marketing that she does with Amazon? What is this about?
She's
Can you
just an
guys?
influencer.
yeah, a lot of Bravo celebrities, they love Amazon Live. And like I follow Madison from Southern Charm, Paige
Yeah,
from Summer House. I love them on
Amazon.
Amazon.
I
Yeah.
love them. I love both those girls. I love
I
them.
haven't watched
I
any of
watch
those shows.
Kyle Richards to hear the tea.
It's amazing. Amazing.
I know.
I do watch The Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love that because I
Oh,
love that.
good.
It's the only
That's
one I
another
watch
one
now.
you would love, Debbie. But that's probably 10 plus years of shows that you have to catch up on.
Well, I've been watching it this year. So before it ended this season, we've been talking about it. I think I started this year watching it, right,
Mhm.
Alexandra? Because I used to watch New York, but I started watching Beverly Hills this year. So that and Vanderpump are the two that I became immersed in. And I need to really get more. I would love to watch Southern Charm. I think I would love that.
Southern Charm is great. I've been watching them from day one too. And I love like Hilton Head, and we go down to Georgia, Savannah, and Charlotte. So I've never ran into any of them, but we always love to go down there and party. Their brunches down there beat New York City here. So
That's
just
so
wow.
fun. Well, we'll definitely have to have you on again, Kelly, to discuss Vanderpump after the finale. We definitely got to get you back on to do some
we'll get
finale
you back
talk
on.
and some reunion talk because that is going to be crazy.
Did I not tell you this girl knows her stuff, her Bravo?
Yeah, you're right.
I know I knew I wanted at one point in my life to, because it's hard. My sister, I have an identical twin sister, and she watches.
Oh my
all
God, there's
shows
two of
with me. Yeah.
Oh
She's
my God.
we're 7 minutes apart and she watches every single show. So no one else, none of my other girlfriends do. So it's just me and her and her husbands. We got them involved. And so we call each other after every show, recap what we feel, it's pretty funny.
I love that.
I love that. Oh my God, two Kellys. Now what's her name?
Her name is Savannah, like Savannah, Georgia.
Oh my God, we know a Savannah.
Oh, really?
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So you guys are exactly, where does she live?
Yeah.
Does she live?
She's exactly like me. We talk the same, we dress the same. It's a little strange. Like even our husbands are a little weirded out by it because we'll come home with the same outfit. If you put us in a store and we went to go shopping, we would probably come out with the exact same outfit, from shoes.
That's twin telepathy.
Where does she live? Where does she live?
She lives in New Fairfield. She has a farm in New Fairfield. She's like a horseback rider.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's funny, she's during the day, she's a commodities trader, which
Oh
no
my
one
gosh.
knows what that is.
Yes, I know what
Love
that
that.
is.
Okay, so she has horses, you do dogs. You guys are an animal loving family. I think
Yes.
that's the perfect segue into your
Yeah.
career, which is incredible. I looked, it's so is it called Treated and then Treated Grooming Dog Spa? Is it all under the name Treated?
So it's under the name Treats Dog Company, and then our little two companies under it, our retail shop is Treats Pupperia, and then we have Treated Groom Spa.
I know you mentioned something you do. You want to learn to be a pilot or you fly, you worked at a restaurant, you worked at a car dealership. How did all these jobs lead to this? Does that have to do with how you met your fiance? Like, take us
Yeah.
through, Kelly. Don't hold
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah. You just had a great synopsis right there. But I my career started in sales, and I was fortunate enough to be like a stay-at-home mom for the first couple of years with my kids, as they, had their early on years. Once they both started in school, my ex, which was he's very into aviation, and so he has the FBO in Danbury Airport, so we would fly out of there all the time. So I learned how to fly as a leisure activity just because I felt like I needed to know just in case something happened to him while we were flying. So I did flying totally out of just fun, and then it progressed into something that I loved. And being a pilot, they always say, there's this old saying that says, like, either you have it or you don't. You have the stick or you don't. And I had it. And so I just started taking aviation courses, and I went through the whole schooling. I'm working right now to get my single engine pilot license. And then you progress, you go for your multi and your instrument. So I'm close to finishing, and I'm training here at the Danbury Airport.
That is so
Um,
cool. Pilot
now it's fun. It's a lot of work. The ground school is probably the hardest thing, but flying is so much fun. It's really fun. And everyone thinks it's the hardest thing, and I'm like, it's just like getting in your car. You get to a point where it becomes so regular, and it's great. And I also am doing it because I like to travel with our dogs. So for us to be able to travel non-commercially, and travel private and bring our pups with us everywhere where they can fly right with us, sitting right in our seat. That was my main thing. I hate traveling commercially. So if I could fly the plane, I will do it to get my dogs to come with
That's
us.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you started with that
Yep.
and then
And
how
then
did
and then once my kids got into school, I had kids very young. In our culture, Portuguese culture, you have kids young, you get married young, and I was brought up that way. But as you adjust to our generation and our society, that doesn't work. And I found my way through. So I didn't go to school. I wasn't fortunate to graduate. I did the whole mom thing when I was younger, and so I started at the bottom of the barrel in sales. And that is selling cars. Okay, ladies. I entered into this male dominated industry and said, you know what? So I love Lexus. I've driven Lexus my whole life. We're like a Lexus family. And we were in Greenwich one day, and my mom was getting a car, and I met the GM there, and she was a woman, and she was like, and we got to talking. I kind of negotiated the whole deal for my mom, and she's like, I have to offer you a position here because you were so great with handling everything start to finish for your mom. Would you consider working for us? And I was like, you know what? I'm looking for a job. So sure. And this was right after the pandemic. And so, no one was really working. And so I found the opportunity to be like, this is great. There's so many people out of jobs right now. I should be grateful. And I would never do that before the pandemic. It's funny how COVID really made people step out of the box. At least for me, I would have never taken a position like this. And I did. And within a year, I was their top sales consultant. And then I started managing their BMW location soon after that for the next year, and it was great. Yeah, we were taking dealerships from being in last place into first place within the first few months, and it just started rolling after that.
That's
And
incredible.
and was that before you met your fiance? Was this all leading up to your
no, So I met my fiance during COVID. A lot of relationships didn't survive COVID either. So
Right.
me and my ex, we broke up and we're still really good friends. And we're a huge age difference. So still great friends. But I met Kyle because I was thinking of going into real estate. And Kyle's family, he's third generation Ridgefielder, Newman. So they used to have Newman real estate on the corner here in downtown Ridgefield.
Yep.
And so I actually met him through real estate. And then before you know it, I was taking the course, but then ended up getting the sales job and just going full force with car sales. And he was in real estate sales. So he's the one that helped me sell all the cars that I did. And what I did that made me so successful was being a woman and using it to help all these other single moms. So I joined like the single mom group Facebook page in Greenwich. And a lot of these women are so intimidated to go into a dealership.
Point. Yes.
Oh my God. Being able to refresh the car sales process was one of my rewarding things I've done in my life. It was
Yeah, that you feel really proud of,
people,
right?
yeah,
Right, you're
because
empowering these.
and giving them a comfortable space to come and be able to buy a car without feeling like there's a sleazy car salesman sitting on the other side,
Right.
and these men treating these women like they didn't know what to do when they were buying a car, what to look for, and giving them great service and helping them throughout the whole every step of the way. So that was
Right.
what made me really successful, was helping out the single moms out there, single women out there.
And then then you guys were dating, you met, and then what happened? How did the first business start with the dogs?
So when we met, we ended up, he lived in Norwalk. I lived in Richfield at the time, still not where we are now. And then our relationship progressed and we ended up wanting to be in downtown Richfield, live in downtown Richfield, just because it's amazing being able to walk into town, the school, Veterans Park. He went to Veterans Park, so we wanted my girls to go there. So we found a house in town during the worst market, but it worked out. He's a real estate agent. So we made it work and we bought this gorgeous house on Greenfield and Bryan, which is like a very well-known little area in downtown Ridgefield. And then when we moved here, I was walking into town with our dogs and I'm like, there's nowhere for dogs to go to. This town is filled with dogs. Everyone not only owns one dog, they own 2 or 3. And we have so many rescues in town. And so that's where it sparked the Treats Dog Company idea, was to start bringing some more awareness to the dogs here in town. They deserve some stores too. We have people that come from Wilton, Reading, South Salem, North Salem. Everyone comes here for their shopping. And they come here to walk their dogs because it's such a dog friendly town, but there's no really shop for them to go grab a treat. You could go to Deborah Ann's, but they're, get treats for you and the kids, but there's nowhere to go for your dogs. So that's where Treats Dog Company started.
And then from there, what happened? Because now I have to tell you, Alexandra, I was there very limited. I only met her fiance once because I was there once to get a gift for a friend's dog. But because of JoJo's stomach issues and being so old and also not playing with toys, I didn't really have any use, no offense, but I had no use for your store because my dog is so old. So I was so happy when I walked in last week to find something for him that he could actually be happy about. And when I went there with the intention to talk to you about this new flyer that I got in the mail. So why don't you explain?
Which is also a reason for you to go there. For when you say you have no reason to go there, I mean, it's a whole doggy spot now. So you might not have known initially.
Well, no, I knew I got a flyer in the mail like the day before. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I want to see what it's about because they mentioned Reiki and Dad does, Reiki, and he does the beamer on our dog as well as ourselves. It's just as important to us. And I mean, this is a testament where I believe our dog is still alive, the beaming and the Reiki. I really do believe it. I do believe it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that was crazy to me. That was my other reason for going in, to ask her to show me.
So this is amazing.
I
was, like I said, I looked on the website, talk a little bit about this doggy spa because this is a place for dogs to come and get pampered. And I loved how you said on the website, they deserve relaxation and body massages and to be zen and to have they're shocker centered.
Well, when we opened up our retail shop and our idea, that word refresh I use a lot because that's what I did in sales, and why I was so successful was refreshing the process, and it doesn't have to be so terrible and so toxic. Like the whole car reputation is awful, right?
Yeah.
So the dog industry is too, and we don't realize how toxic all the toys are, the food. I mean, it's horrifying to see all these dogs with all these medical issues, and it all stems from food. It all comes from food. Yes, the environment plays a part, but 190% of the time, dogs' issues come from their food. And so for us, when we were at the retail shop, we refreshed the typical pet store. We have the alternative. We have alternative dental chews. We have alternative chew bones and antlers. You know, we do coffee wood, and we always find the natural way of healing a dog. So when we opened up the shop, we got to know our clientele very well, and we have a lot of doodles in town. We have a lot of dogs that need to be groomed between 4 to 6 weeks. Every 4 to 6 weeks, they need to be groomed. And we just kept hearing all these pain points like, we're just coming from the groomers and we need to come in for a treat. And the dog's like shaking. And I'm like, what did they do to your dog? Like, I don't understand why grooming has to be so traumatic for dogs. So as we did more research, as we talked to more clients, as we figured out what the pain points were in the industry, that's when me and Kyle looked at each other and we're like, are we going to find a way to refresh this dog grooming process? Because clearly there's a need for it, because everyone's completely booked. No one's taking new clients, like all of our local groomers in Ridgefield. And so we were like, let's go down this avenue. But if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way and figure out how we can find alternatives for all the pain points. So one of them is the environment. So when your dog walks into a typical groomer, it looks like a vet. It has stainless steel tables. It has white walls. There's no sensitivity behind the interaction. That first interaction, it's very just, all right, dog, boom. It's very mechanical. So we're like, why is that? And then the other thing was the crates. They're in crates all day long. And I don't crate my dog. I'm sure you don't crate Jojo.
No.
So for a dog to go get groomed, it's so traumatic because they're in a crate. They've never been crated. They don't do this at home. So we have suites, and we developed these suites to have anxiety beds. We've lighted it so dogs can see yellow and blue and red. So we made all these colors that are invitingly friendly for them when they come in, as well as aromatherapy was another option, another thing that we decided that we could add to help. So we do chamomile and lavender constantly pumping into the air. We do CBD treatment as well. So upon arrival, say, you're open to doing the CBD treatment to calm your dog down, you have them complimentary. We also have hemp treats too, so you don't have to go the CBD route, but you can do calming treats. We have lick mats with peanut butter. So we find all these little treats also that can add some sort of stimulation for them to be calm or just distracted in some sort of way. And then the environment. So all of our bathtubs are lined with stone and a lot of outside materials and things that dogs are used to, that they know. They walk on grass and stone and every day. So we brought that into the bathtubs. All of our hair dry, like the blow dryers, are all low sensitive volume hair dryers. All of our products a lot of groomers don't share what kind of products they use to groom their dogs, which is another thing to me, because I'm so particular about every product that's used on myself and my kids and my dogs. So the fact that the groomer is not going to share with me what they use for a shampoo or conditioner, that was my breaking point with grooming, was why can you not share that? So all of our shampoos and conditioners and all of the products we use are right in front. You can see every single product. You can actually choose the shampoo that you want to use for your dog. We do milk and honey. We have a lavender. We have an ocean spray. We have a non-scented one. We have brightening shampoos, and they're all natural and all local. They're all made here in Norwalk. So
That's amazing, Kelly. I mean,
we checked off every box we could.
No, I mean, because like Alexandra, I actually walked through. Kelly was so gracious to show me because they didn't officially, right, Kelly? You haven't officially opened yet,
Yeah.
but some of your clients, what you've told me, have been able to go through the process, but they haven't really officially opened, I think, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we opened Saturday, but we gave all of our clients at the Pupperia, like all of our retail clients, they're considered VIP. So they were able to use our facilities before anyone else in
right.
town.
And it's as gorgeous as she describes and even better. I mean, it's so impressive. What's so amazing is it's so not sterile. Like she said, it's not that sterile mechanical feel.
Yeah.
You walk through, you
Comfortable.
feel if you close your eyes and then open, you would think you were dealing with like a human environment, like even better than what we get when we go to the doctor. I mean, it's so inviting. And I do think that that's such a great point you make, because with so many times my dog would shake when he would go to the vet, even though my vet is so loving. You're right, the dog sensitivity, what they're surrounded by, they sense it. They
sense it. They know, they feel it. It's not comfortable. It's not inviting for them. Just like you, if we walked into a spa and they were like, get on the silver stainless steel table, you'd be like, I'm not getting on there. You know? So to give them, we give them beds and they have, the tables are all padded and just comfortable for them to go on. And the grooming process is the grooming process. We can't refresh that. The shower's the shower, the bath, the bath. I have to trim your nails, but with our groomers, one thing that we do that's different too, is that they do A to Z with the dog. So a lot of the times when you go bring your dog to the groomer, one person will bathe it, one person will dry, and the other groomer will cut the dog. So there's 3 different people that are coming into the treatment, right? With us, our groomers do start to finish, so that the bathing part of it, they actually bond with the dog. So that's how you build the trust with this dog. Hi, you don't know me, but I'm going to give you a bath and I'm going to massage you while I do the bath. You're going to learn to love me in this 20-minute bath time. And that's what's going to let me be able to cut your nails without you freaking out, because now you know me a little bit. We just took a bath together,
Right. And you even mentioned to me, Kelly, when we first met, that the people that you take on, they're like family. Like they're just not these random people, that you really interview them to the point that, they have a human side, a connection to your animals that you bring in, because this is a service and you want to really represent it the best way you can to the humans and to the animals, right?
Oh yeah, Debbie, that was our biggest, that was the hardest thing about the entire group salon, was really learning our groomers and figuring out who's going to work best for the company. And we had, thank goodness, because the groomers are far and few in between. It's not like you're growing up like, I want to be a groomer when I grow up. It's not a thing. So finding them is not, they're not on every corner. It's not. They're hard, especially experienced ones, because over time their hands start to go. Hands, arms, grooming's very hard on the body and hands. So finding someone with 20 years of experience that's able to come, because that was our thing, was they need to know every breed. They need to know how to do the standard poodles, because that's what we have here. So finding these groomers were really hard, and we did, and we are so happy, because they're not your typical, they are so sweet and down to earth, and that they bring a calming aspect to grooming too. And then interviewing groomers or like hairdressers, they have a personality, and they're a lot to deal with. So we got really lucky with our
and then of course you said that there's going to be a Reiki component, and what's the other thing that you call what's acupuncture?
Acupuncture.
And so my husband might become part of your team. He's so happy to do Reiki. He's a Reiki master. Is he going to be part of your team, I think?
Yes, he is. Vinny was great, and what you guys and what he's developed is something that we want to grow into a wellness spa. We want to have the first Medi spa for dogs, right? So you can have the traditional grooming, but we're going to offer you these wellness routes too for your dog if they're suffering from different issues. And Reiki is one of them. And let me tell
And
you, your father, Alexandra,
the
and your
beamer
husband,
the beamer is so
amazing.
amazing because the
Yes.
beamer, it's so calming. It's a yoga mat for these animals. And when
Yeah.
I tell you, I don't know, I think my dog feels it a little. I think he notices. And I feel that that's
Agree.
what's really kept the longevity with the mobility. And I mean, he's not a healthy animal. I know he's not because I know they did tests and he has a growth on the adrenal gland for the last few years.
Mhm.
He's got something in his lung, but I swear this beaming and the Reiki has
Get
made
him
this
through it.
longevity of my precious pup so happily still here. I really do think at 17, we're going to get him to 20. That's what Vinny said. We're going to get him to 20. Alexandra knows, right? She
She's
knows somebody's
smiling.
dog
So cute.
who lived to 21.
Yeah, there's
Right?
been, yes, there's like, I think the oldest Shih Tzu was like 20, 21. But that's great that you're including that component because that's another type of medicine instead of just going to the vet and getting
Yeah.
antibiotics or medication to be on to heal naturally, like we do with humans. People decide to go to the healing naturally path. Why not for dogs? Why not for
Yeah.
animals?
There's so many people open to doing it. And it's not like it's offered right down the road from you. So being able to offer this in town, especially for a town like Ridgefield that has so many dogs, I
I
think we're
know.
like pretty close to being equivalent ratio of humans in this town
I
from
know
what
it's so
I see.
true. It's so true. We're so dog friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
We really are.
So to bring the wellness route here and be able to share this with everyone is going to be amazing. I can't wait to get your
Can't wait.
father on board and your husband on board. That he's going to love it and he's going to be very busy. I feel like this town is going to respond so well to our wellness center. It's going to be great, and we plan on doing laser treatment, water therapy. So
Amazing. Amazing. And I
Wait,
got
what's
to tell you,
water therapy? I have to hear. What is water
yes,
therapy?
So
yes,
actually, I was looking into one it's salt water. So there's no chemicals in this water, and it's like a little bathtub. Okay, and you fill it up, and it allows your dog to do. It's almost like a swimming class for your dog, but in house. And there's a little track that's underneath it, so it gets them to walk in water, which actually helps. I'm not. I'm not the
the
specialist on it
special strength, but
whatsoever.
like the arthritis and stuff,
Yes,
or
yes,
mobility.
hip and joints, and it's supposed to target and it's preventative too, just like we do our preventative things. If you know your dog and certain breeds are prone to hip and joint issues, and if you could avoid it for a period of time, you're going to do these things to avoid potentially having those issues as they get older, then you're
Right.
going to do it. Yeah, so that's
And
the
that's part
therapy.
of the whole Beamer experience, Kelly, that
Yeah,
as people, we do it as a preventative. We also do it for injury. Same with the dogs. We do it as a preventative, but if there is an injury, do it for the dog.
great.
So it's the
Yeah.
same parallel that we do for the human that we do for our animals. And that says so much. And what's interesting, you have me thinking when you end up doing your packages, I noticed you had all these packages.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll do a bundle where you'll say beaming and water or
Yeah.
beaming without water. I know you said there's a lot of Alexandra, she's got a la carte stuff where you can pick and choose, or you could do a bundle.
Yeah, like our menu right now is probably at the most basic side of things. We created this, very quickly. We built this business in about 3 months just because we never wanted to get into grooming, but after having the store and hearing everyone's situations with grooming, we were like, this is insane. Like someone hasn't refreshed this business yet,
Right,
at
right.
least not in our area. You see these places in the city, you see them in LA where they're bringing this aesthetic to the dog industry, but you don't see it around here.
That's
So
so true. And you know what? It says a lot because if you look at my situation, I don't go to the groomers anymore in my town. I left a long time ago. I travel 45 minutes each way to go to a dog groomer. who has been caring for my dog because I did not like the Ridgefield groomers.
Abby,
I was so disappointed.
you and so many other people, when I hear that these people are driving 2 hours to go get their dog groomed, I was like, there's something seriously wrong
Yeah.
then,
Yeah,
because that's insane.
it's
And then
ridiculous.
when you start hearing about what these local or what groomers do in general, I mean, they have up to 30 dogs in one day. And I was completely shocked by that. I was like, that's what's unhealthy is these dogs are being treated like materialistic items, like boom, conveyor belt style.
Right, right.
Switching gears a little bit, what is it like working with your fiance? How has that been? Because you work together, you live together. Are you getting sick of each other, or does it work?
That's a great
Oh
point.
my God,
Alexandra.
that's a great question. And someone asked me that today too. I can't get enough of him. And we are a team. I think both of us, we got together at such a later age. We're in our 30s. So when I met him, I was 30. And so you go through relationships and you learn so much. And then you meet the person that not only do you love, but like he's your friend. I think that's the most important thing. And I have my girlfriends that I love and I can hang out with them every day, but Kyle, I can be with 24/7. And we are such a, I can't explain it. And I never was always like this. I've had my tempers and I'm never satisfied. I'm an Aries. That's not the case. Kyle's brought this very soothing side out of me, and we get along so well, and we are so creative. And Kyle's a go-getter. So we have these ideas and we put them together and we make it work. Like we make it happen, having that team member that will help you make it happen. It's so great because there's so many times where you have these ideas and it's like, I'm a little nervous to go with it. Kyle's right there, like, nope, let's go. What do we need?
So great. Like I met him and he was like painting when I got there.
Yeah.
He's so creative. Didn't he do all the inside work?
Yeah,
He's also not just a real estate agent. Isn't he like also the
yeah.
like he's so talented, right?
Designer, and he's amazing with architecture and art and just putting a vision together and quickly. Like I've never met someone that, and as an Aries, I like things done overnight, and he gets it done overnight. I don't know how, don't ask me, but he's amazing. I look at him and we're grateful every morning. So our home is a wellness center too. So like we have a sauna, we have a gym, and it's nothing fancy. Okay. Nothing fancy at all, but we made sure to make our home our heaven, the place that we want to go to. I pull into my driveway and I want to run into my house.
That's nice. Yeah. And you have a lovely dog. I met your dog. Do you have more than one dog, Kelly? Or is it just
Well, we fostered a lot. And so a lot of them found their homes already. So we're down to one dog, which probably won't last for too long.
Oh, that dog that I met is not your dog?
That's our dog. That's our dog. But I've had dogs in and out of here for the last 2 years. Like I lost count. We try to help and foster, and since we've started up the businesses, we've been a little busy. So we haven't really joined in too much, but now we're settling down. We're already looking at a new foster and maybe a new dog, but our dog now is just amazing. We do
He's amazing. I met him.
I'm nervous to get another dog because it's just really easy right now.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you guys are a great team. I do think maybe back in the day when a wife would be like, I'm going to leave the home and start a business, a lot of guys are like, you're going to. Yeah, sometimes now too, they're
Can I go back and yell at that lady though?
I know, right? Like it's just so great that you guys are a team and you're equal partnerships. Like I watched the show on HGTV. I don't know if you ever watched Teen Mom. Yeah, Chelsea and Cole, they have their own interior. And I love it. I'm like, they want to be together 24/7. They raise kids together. They work together. And like you said, they love it because they're a great team.
Yeah. I see it in Kyle too. Like my past relationships, I found that a lot of the times you're looking for ways to not see each other. Like, oh, well, I have this. Me and Kyle are always trying to find ways to hang out with each other. Like
I said that. You know what? I said that, Kelly, that it's so weird when people are like, the marriage is, they work because we don't spend time together. It's when you spend the time and you enjoy spending the time makes you a great marriage, a strong marriage. I know that. 30
You
years
have
later.
yeah,
Already
you and
30
Vinny are
years.
amazing role models for your kids.
Yeah.
And it's so nice now that I have that for my kids. They see a difference too because we co-parent. And so they get to see, what goes on at dad's house and what goes on here. And it's
Yeah.
a big difference. And I'm happy that they can see what a healthy relationship is like and that our opinion matters and a lot of the times in certain households the men always pay for the bills or whatever the case may be, so certain things, no, we're raising our kids in such a new generational way where they're going to be very successful when they get older and know their worth and know what they're looking for in a relationship and in a career as well.
That's so
A lot of people
important.
they get stuck in careers they hate. That's why, Alexandra, I praise you, and your parents are the ones that supported you probably going down this route,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Or else you would end up in a career that you probably hate, and I never want that for my kids. I want to make sure they're supported in going into careers that they want to do and that
Right.
they
And
love.
sometimes careers take time. Like I'm in a really hard industry, so it's not going to be overnight that I land something, and to have my parents support me and
Yes.
understand it's not going to be the same route as getting a 9 to 5 job in an office, which, this will take more time. It's more myself creating things to happen. It's great to have them support that.
Absolutely.
And the
It's
way
really-
we kind of evolved, Alexander and I, this was not a plan, like, all right, we're going to start a podcast. It just kind of evolved that way. While I was supporting her, in terms of her dream and getting her education and then going on for a master's, this evolved right before COVID, I think, right,
Yeah.
Alexander? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
It was in Miami because you got your master's in
COVID really
Miami.
pushed people to do what they really want to do. Life is
Right.
short. And there's nothing better than seeing your family members be happy, especially in the career that you're in. Can't tell you enough of getting those phone calls every day from friends or family that are in careers that they hate. And I'm over here like, oh, I had such a great day. I was with this dog and we did this. And
Right.
like,
Oh my God,
Right.
your spa is going to be the talk of the town. This is so exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just such a great, smart idea. And you're doing so much for the animals. It's so true. It's one little step where you're refreshing, which I love, an entire industry that's been kind of sterile and wrong for so long. And I'm hoping that your spa, you could franchise, you could go out, and this could be a thing in every town in Connecticut, and we can have lots of doggy spas. Or do they just come to Ridgefield?
Yeah. Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
We're so happy to
Thank
have had you
you.
as our first guest woman of the month of our, because we're doing this series for women. And we also thought May is great because it's Mother's Day. A lot of people are mothers
Great.
that we're interviewing. So it's just such an exciting time,
I wish
for
you
all of
all
us.
the luck, ladies. What you're doing is amazing. And
We're
I
hoping.
think that you're going to have much success with it. And I feel so honored to be the first on the show.
Tell everyone where they can find you, your Instagram, your spa, everything.
Our Instagram is treats treats dog co. You can find both of our companies under there, Treats Pupperia and Treated Groom Spa. And we are in downtown Ridgefield in Connecticut. Yes, so find us on there, DM me, message me. We are always open. We also work with special needs dogs. I want to throw that in
Oh,
there.
throw that in. That was a very important part that I was so impressed with.
Yeah.
Love that, Kelly.
Sundays, we save our Sundays for, it's called Give Back Sundays. So one of our groomers sticks around and we do puppy mill dogs, we do rescues, we do dogs that don't really get along with other dogs. So they'll have the facility to themselves for a period of time. So there's not multiple dogs there when that dog is there. We let parents stay. We have a booth where it's all glass. So the dog can actually see the parents while they get a bath so that they feel comfortable. I mean, we try and get these dogs that just are turned away by all groomers. We try and figure out a way to get them groomed, and we do it on Sundays. Give
Now,
back
do
Sundays.
you do cats as well? Cats?
It,
I was
we
that's
so
cute.
yeah. So one of our groomers, she does do cats. She's open, but we haven't had any bookings for cats yet. We
That's
haven't.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cat people
Yeah.
get it. I know there's lots of cats in Ridgefield too. We got to get some people over there because
Yes.
cats deserve some love too. That is so.
They need love
I-
too. I have cat treats. We love cats. We have cat products at our store as well. We started the brand for all of our dogs that walk by. That's where it started for all the walking dogs in town.
And when Alexandra comes to visit in September, you'll have to meet Kelly, because
Yes.
Oh,
I have to show
absolutely.
her your facility.
100%.
It's
The-
gorgeous.
Yes, thank you
Gorgeous.
so much,
Thank
Kelly,
you,
for speaking
ladies.
with us.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Kelly. It was so wonderful to have you on our show. And yeah, we're excited. And hopefully, if nothing else, your message gets out here about, how you can turn something. I mean, you just kept progressing as a woman and you ended up doing something you love. I wish you all the
Taking
best.
the
And I just
risk.
think it's an amazing, amazing testament to you as a person, because me being an animal lover, it's just so invaluable to have this in our community. So I'm really grateful for you to,
Oh,
to have this for all of
yeah.
us.
It's great that you were able to capture and understand our mission, and it's coming across very well over town. We're very new, so getting the feedback is very important for us and part of our growth and our journey. So thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Alexandra.